of BumPicks. I'm going to give you another 3-game prediction for Week 7 in college football. There's going to be a lot of great games for Week 7, and I'm excited to see all of them. I'm going to focus on 3 and 3 only. I'm going to start off with the 5th-ranked Penn State 5-0 team traveling to Southern California to face USC. That is 3-2. The odds for this game is Penn State is favored -3.5, and the dogs are USC at +2.5, and the over/under is 51. As we all know, Penn State just breezed by UCLA and took a victory, 27-11. They did fail to cover the spread. That was at 29.5. Huge spread, and they failed to cover it. The odd makers kind of saw something that we all didn't see, but they did fail to cover that spread. The quarterback, Drew Aller, had one of his best games of the season. He completed 17 of 24 attempts. He had 237 yards, 1 touchdown, and 0 interceptions. Penn State is not really known for their offense, but their offense does put up points. They're in the middle of the pack in all categories. Points per game is 34.4, and that's ranked 23rd. Passing yards per game is 244, and that's 47th ranked. Their rushing yards per game is 217.8, and that's good for 14th rank. Their defense is a whole other animal. Their defense is what they rely on. Their defense is top 10 in all categories that I've seen. They're allowing their opponents to score 11.4 points per game, and that is good for ranked 6th. They're allowing their opponents passing yards per game, 157 yards per game, and that's good for 8th. The rushing for their opponents is 76.4, and yes, you heard that right, 76.4, and that is ranked 7th overall. USC has had its ups and downs all season long. I know it's still kind of early, but we're at the midway point, and they've had a solid win against LSU week 1. They just beat Wisconsin in week 5, and last week they lost a heartbreaker to Minnesota on the road as favorites to win that game. That loss right there took them out of the rankings. They're not even top 25, and the reason why is because they've lost two out of 3 games. Penn State, and you can vouch for this as well, Penn State has had a fairly easy schedule this far. I'm not knocking any of the wins off from their record, but they haven't really played any top opponents yet. So week 7 is going to be a test for them with USC. So let's see how this comes out. My prediction for this game is I'm going to take the hot hand here. I'm going to go Penn State -3.5, and they're going to continue and go on to 6-0 for the season. The second game I have for you guys is South Carolina going to the 7th-ranked Alabama. South Carolina is 3-2, and they're 1-2 in the SEC. Alabama is 4-1, and they are 1-1 in the SEC. The odds for this game is Alabama is favorites at -21.5, and that is over 3 touchdowns favorites. We have the dogs at South Carolina +21.5, and then the over/under is 50.5. And I don't even got to say this about Alabama, but we all know what just happened to them last week. It surprised me, probably surprised you, it surprised the whole country. I did not expect them to lose to Vanderbilt after they just beat Georgia the week before. I'm going to give a shout out to Albuquerque native Diego Pavia for handling business and taking care of Alabama and knocking them off that pedestal that they had at ranked 1. Like I said, 2 weeks ago, they just beat Georgia. And going into Vanderbilt, there was no thought of them losing this game. This wouldn't have happened if Nick Saban was their coach. I can tell you that right now. This would have not happened. Alabama is 35th ranked in rushing. Their offense is averaging 194.2 yards per game, and that is good for 8th overall. And their offense scoring is 44.6 per game, and Alabama scores points. They score a lot of points. For South Carolina, They just fell to Ole Miss last week, 27-3. And their offense was a no-show. Their offense stayed in the locker room and didn't want to play against Ole Miss. They only scored 3 points, couldn't punch it in. It just looked like a bad game for them. They have some victories over. They have one good victory, and that is over Kentucky. And they took LSU to the wire. They lost 36-33, but it ended up being a loss. The Gamecocks are tied for 110th in passing with 176 yards per contest, and they're 43rd ranked in rushing average, and that's 184 per game. They are 32nd in scoring defense, and that's 19 points per game that they allow their opponents. I don't see Alabama covering over 3 touchdowns. It's just hard for me to think that. I think what happened to them last week, it could have been a fluke, and they're going to come out pissed, and they're going to come out and score a bunch of points. I'm not going to try to back it. I'm going to go Alabama to have a great game, to win this game, but I'm going to predict the over 50.5. I say Alabama scores high 30s, low 40s. South Carolina, they might get 14, they might get 20. So I'm predicting over 50.5. The last game that I have for you guys is I've been waiting for this game since I seen it on the schedule. We have the number 1 ranked Texas team going to the number 18th ranked Oklahoma to face a 4-1 team, and we all know that Texas hasn't lost, and they're 5-0. They're 1-0 in the SEC, and Oklahoma is 1-1 in the SEC. And what do we know about these two teams? Let me tell you, it's the Red River rival, and this is going to be the first Red River rival in the SEC, and it's going to be a really good game. The odds for this game is Texas is favored -15, and we got the Oklahoma as dogs at +15, and the over-under is 49. Let me tell you this. Oklahoma has won 5 of the last 6 meetings against Texas. 5 of the last 6 games they've won. Is it going to be the same outcome, and they're going to go 6 out of 7? Who knows? Texas coming off a 35-13 win over Mississippi State as 37-point favorites. They failed to cover so. They're also putting they're also 3-0 in the over, and that put a stop to it by them not hitting the over and not hitting the spread at 37. Texas coming off a bye this coming week, and they get Ewers back. It's going to be a huge boost for that offense. Manning did his thing, but it's Ewers' team. The Sooners were down 11 going into the 4th quarter and rallied back and beat Auburn 27-21. It was 21-10 going into the 4th quarter, and Oklahoma came back and won 27-21. Sooners are allowing 16 points per game. They gave up 25 points to Tennessee. Defense is ranked 8th against run. Offense is averaging 28.6 points. The defense is giving up 16 points per game. Offense is ranked 69th, and defense is ranked 19th best in overall. In this game, I don't know. It's gonna be a really good game. I like this rival a lot. Texas beat Michigan by 19 points, and they're coming off their bye. I just see Texas handling business, and they're gonna roll Oklahoma. They're gonna roll Oklahoma by at least 27 points. I feel like I don't think Oklahoma has an answer to Texas' offense. So I'm gonna pick Texas -15.5 to cover the spread. So we're all ready for week 7. I'm excited. I'm sure you're excited. So stay tuned. Let's continue to win. Mark it, book it, stamp it. Don't be a bum. Hit that like, hit that subscribe.